Hey V, line them up.
What's going on, CBR fam? We were dealing with some technical difficulties. We're still somewhat working them out. But I'm glad y'all are here. Y'all could be anywhere else in the world, but y'all are here in the bar. Keno, of course, Keno's gonna be late. Y'all know what it is. Y'all can keep on putting up free Keno if y'all want to. Uh, y'all gonna address that issue with him. Who we got here early? We got Cousin Ro. We got Mike from 1776. We got Tuck. We got Lupe from Space City. We got Cousin Tradesman. Trace, I want to show you something in a second. Ask you if you have one of these. We got Dimitri. We got Didi. We got Jordan Hicks. We got Chris from In the Box. Plus, we got High Voltage Chondro. What's going on, bro, man? You gonna see? You know, listen. That's a cool dude right there. Listen, hold on a second. I got my wooden humidor here because I was just seasoning. Tradesman, have you had one of these? Hold on a second. One of these San Andreas? Hold on. Right there. Have you had one of these, man? You didn't get one of these. I found these at a local store and they had a 60 ring gauge one. That motherfucker's potent. So if you see one of these tradesmen, you gotta pick it up. Besides that, uh what else is going on with y'all, man? Uh I had a rough day. I didn't there was two more videos that were supposed to get put out today. They didn't get put out. I spilled oil all over my driveway while I was changing my oil because the little pan that I had to catch the oil, I'm an idiot. I didn't actually take the lid off of it. So I drained oil into a pan that had a lid on it, and I didn't realize until it was too late. So I got oil everywhere. So I spent hours cleaning that up. So y'all didn't get the extra videos. If y'all want them, we'll still put them out. Um, but that is pretty much the gist of it. I'm glad to see y'all. What's going on, Pat? We're gonna get to this MVF deep dive. And in the spirit of having carpet guys on, because we got Phil Anderson, that's Anderson with an E, not a O, and we got Tony. We're going to talk about carpets. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Uh, what did Tuck do? Dimitri and myself got eggs hatching this week. That's exciting. Yeah, that is exciting. That's super exciting. And congratulations to y'all. Y'all know we love y'all. Shout out to Tuck. I saw you last week on Trap Talk. Uh, Continuing to be a great guy as always. Um, yeah, as soon as this thing chooses to work, then we will do this thing. Um, so I guess we're just at the mercy of this damn thing. It's just been a day, y'all. It's just been a day. Beyond that, man, I got a question for y'all. How do y'all initially feel about carpet pythons, man? I personally don't own a carpet python. I don't really have real feelings about not carpet pythons, but carpondros. I don't have any feelings about carpondros, and I know that some people have some strong feelings about them, and they say crazy shit about them. But I've seen some nice looking carpondros out there. I know that Mel and Oso got a pretty nice carpondro, and I've seen some other ones out there. Um, I know that people always talk about they're sterile and whatnot, or they just have weird shit going on with them. Shit is weird shit going on with chondros, man. I've seen some weird shit, so I don't really have feelings about carpondros. Um, Also, I think that me and Keno have made a decision about shirts, so you guys will see something about shirts probably in the next 2 weeks. So if you still want shirts, let us know. I know that we kept saying that we were doing it, but we are actually doing it. And I think I got a guy. I really truly think I got a guy. Oh well. Um, you know what? We're gonna skip the MVF deep dive today because this computer just shut down, and I don't want to hold you guys for any longer. Chris said I had one. It died. Um, I'm sorry. Tuck said 6 months later, we still gonna be talking about shirts. You know what? 6 months later, hopefully you have your shirts in 6 months. I still have a shirt here in my house, Tuck, that I was supposed to give you a year ago. So if you're expecting me to ship you something really fast, you fresh the fuck out of luck. Just about any of y'all, because I don't like going to the post office. I don't like old ladies at the post office. Um, I just don't like being in the post office. They always smell. The post office always smells like fucking old ass books. There's something about the post office and the library. It just smells like, forgotten dreams. Um yeah, he's back in the US, man. I wish he delivered your shirt to you. But you know what? Um we're gonna we're gonna bring in Tony. We're gonna bring in Tony. Hopefully we don't got Phil yet, but we're gonna bring in Tony. What's going on, Tony?
Man, I'm just listening to you. Yeah, you got that one man conversation down.
I've had to learn how to get this done without Keno here. If you can hear my kids giving my wife hell downstairs right now. Um,
Oh,
but
I thought
yeah,
that was your audience back there.
no, that's my son about to get beat up. that's my that's my son about to get beat up downstairs. Uh, but
He's
yeah,
growing up
Tony.
in show business.
I don't think he's grown up in show business unless he's got aspirations of being on Jackass. Because that's all he seems to do is do dumbass
So those
stunts.
guys are still cashing paychecks.
Yeah, in pain, and some are addicted to pain meds. It's not, it didn't work out necessarily in the
It's
end.
not a bunch of role models, but
When it comes to role models, I think that all kids get. I think we just got a shitty crop of role models. Like seeing some of the things that kids are into these days, I'm just like,
well,
who gave
the
y'all
role
this shit?
models that we celebrate probably aren't the most ideal role models.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
why I love seeing athletes that really toe the line and realize what kind of power they have over these kids.
yeah. I mean, you got kids that like love Jake Paul and Sexy Red, and it's just crazy out there. That's just what kids like. They like twerking and they like YouTube bullshit. That's what the kids love. Also, what they are starting to realize is with this new generation of children is that they have given them iPads for so much of their lives that they really don't know how to read. Uh, which is a problem. The new kids don't know how to read.
No, that is a problem. And think about 20 years from now when these kids are going to be up at this, adult teenage, man, the world will be so different the way it's being driven and the way kids are being raised.
Yeah,
That's why they all need snakes.
can
It'll
you
bring them
imagine?
back down to earth.
Can you imagine going to the doctor and you got to get a surgery and some kid is watching a YouTube video while he performs your surgery?
He'll probably be doing it through an iPad. Yeah.
Yeah, it is idiocracy. Um, but
Yeah.
I guess we still waiting for Phil. But until Phil gets here, Tony, can we get your background real quick? Can you give us a short bio? You can give a long bio. It doesn't really matter. Take as long as you like
Well,
to.
my snake background goes back as soon as probably my earliest memory was 5 years old, and I was just always drawn to snakes. My dad was a school teacher in Brownfield, Texas, and his students would bring him snakes they would find in the fields to me. Uh, and so I just grew up fascinated by them. I think it was my substitute for being able to have a dinosaur. Uh, but that fascination continued. I had snakes until I was in high school, and then got out of snakes until my mid 20s. And at that point, I started getting into breeding snakes. And like most people back in the mid 90s, there wasn't a lot of options. So you worked with Burmese pythons and boa constrictors. Uh, there were a lot of those and a lot of people doing that. Um, And it wasn't until about 2000 that I started getting into carpet pythons and ball pythons. And that's really where this hobby grew on me. And I realized how vast it was. And, we were shipping snakes overnight. It was just a world that I didn't know 10 years before that. But just always been fascinated by keeping and reproducing in captivity, always excited me. Uh, so long story short, I got back into snakes about 6 years ago, and it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. My kids have both gone off to college, so I was an empty nester. And man, having a hobby like that I was so passionate about, it's really been a blessing.
So you don't you only person that you got to talk to in the snakes is in the house is the snakes. You don't got anybody waking you up and telling you to go to Home Depot look at wallpaper.
I've had a little bit of that off and on, but I've been a bachelor for about 17 years, and it definitely has its strong suits, uh, and especially with the snakes. So I can jack with my snakes whenever I want. I've got a lot of free time. I definitely appreciate it.
I mean, that's good. So I want to get back to talking about the early days of carpet pythons. Like, I guess that carpet pythons that there was a large carpet pythons in America. They were established really before the green tree pythons were. So could you tell us about carpet pythons when you first got into them and what the scene was like?
Well, I was at this man's house in Arlington, and he was really the first legit snake breeder I ever met. And his name was Stan Grumbeck. Uh, and he's probably still in the hobby to some extent. He was just one of those guys that had been keeping and breeding a long time. And I was over there looking at this big, uh, giant green Burmese, and he pulled out a diamond carpet cross, and that was the first carpet I had seen. And I would imagine that was 1995. The shape and size of that snake impressed me so much that when I was able to find some, I did. And at the time, it was such a unique snake. You didn't see many of them. It was kind of the one off. But just the the smaller size, but still having that impressive big snake look, man, it sold me the minute I saw it. Uh, so I was very fortunate. About when kingsnake.com started, I was looking for some carpets, and I'm very much a fan of buying fresh baby hatchlings that the breeder. But I got on King Snake and bought a pair of jungle carpet pythons from Lloyd Lemke, who I didn't know from Adam, and who had bought these directly from the Barkers. So I bought these jungle carpets with the best lineage. Uh, and when I got them in, they were perfect. It was probably 6 months later, I was producing jungle carpets. So I really stepped into a sweet situation. Uh,
That's fast.
yeah, it is. And I would carry around that Pythons of the World Volume One book, The Barker's Road, and I could tell them that I had snakes that were grandchildren of the snake on this book, and so I had a lot of fun going to shows. I did the show circuit for about 5 years. Uh, and I got into ball pythons real big during that time. And that's kind of what ultimately got me out of snakes. But the jungle carpets were a snake that you could produce a clutch of, and it would probably take you a year to sell them. There just weren't that many people buying carpets. It was a very one-off snake. So things have obviously changed a lot. This hobby has changed so much.
So what was it about the ball pythons that made you want to change up with snakes?
Well, I started seeing dollar signs. So here I
Oh,
am breeding these jungle carpets, and I'm making 250 a pop, man, and I'm having a great time doing it. And then here come these ball pythons. You see spider ball python for $12,000, and you start talking to people at shows. It was just, that's when that vibe started with the ball python, the craze, because it's just such a practical snake to produce, and you can really see a business strategy where it's pretty solid.
Yeah, they're like the Glocks of the reptile world.
Yeah. And you just didn't see it with carpets. They weren't practical, but at the time that was, what I was caring about. Well, just going through, getting in and out of snakes a few times will teach you a lot about what you like and what you don't like. And I've been very happy that I've learned from some mistakes I made when I was young, because, I can honestly say that there not one time I have not looked forward to going and changing my water bowls. It's because my balance of snake and other life, it's in check. And so to me, that was something I really wanted to make happen when I got back into it.
Yeah, I gotta I gotta change adult waters tomorrow. Not terribly looking forward to it.
Well, it's a good time to check on your snakes and interact with them a little bit. And it just makes you feel good. I think we've all realized how important fresh water is. So, when I'm doing those waters every 3 days, it's reminding me that I'm taking care of accomplishing a goal that I had set, that I'm going to do this every week. So it's a feel good feeling, and I get to interact a little bit, kind of check on everybody.
So, how many carpets do you have at the moment?
And I get asked that a lot. I live in a world where people are not into snakes, and they know I have snakes. So that's a question I get a lot. So when someone asks me that, I don't count my hatchlings. So the ones that I'm keeping, I have 18 snakes.
Yeah.
And there's some of those that are going to have to go. I'm hoping as animals get older, my collection, I can just send them on to friends to hopefully continue to work with them. But yeah, I really don't want to get super attached to them like pets. They're like my fish. I got all these fish aquariums, but they sure are amazing to work with. And I don't know how much you know about the stuff I breed, but I'm doing a lot of combining jungle and coastal with diamond, and man, that has been such a great experience. These snakes have proven to be very strong, great feeders, docile, just really super healthy. And my uneducated guess I would assume that we're just kind of getting the best of all of these, kind of crossing those bloodlines, and it makes them pretty animals too.
So, I was going to ask you about that later on in the show, but we can go ahead and attack it now. So, when I looked at your collection and I was looking at this times that, and I was just like, okay, so these aren't exactly locality specific carpet pythons, and I'm still kind of ignorant to it, so I'm not necessarily sure what is a locality and how necessarily this works. So I want
Well,
to ask you
I'm kind
about
of confused on chondros too. I'm
yeah
sitting there thinking reds are the best, and now I'm hearing yellows are good too. It's kind of the same kind of thing. But
yeah it's not it's weird.
no,
It's,
y'all have a great community. The fact that y'all can dispute red and yellow means that there is a lot of people really fanatical about what you do.
oh yeah, there's some fanatics, there's some weird shit. Also, you ever see like when like they find people who like said that they were like abducted by aliens, and then they like realized that they were like lying because they're fanatics and shit. Like you kind of see that sometimes with green tree pythons. It's kind of weird. It's kind of hard to explain. But there's people who will say things about green tree pythons and about how they look as neos and how much they're better, only for this neo to grow up and be plain green. So there's there's that factor of it.
Well,
It doesn't
I
really.
could see that, and I kind of lurk in the green tree world, thinking at some point I'm going to jump in and get me a small group. Uh, Oh, is that Phil?
Yeah, Phil, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Phil.
Yeah, Phil is finally here. Everybody, we got Phil Anderson with an E.
With
Phil,
an E.
I talked
Yeah.
to somebody asked me a question. It was Noelle from a Mega Serpent. She asked me the question, if you are you coming on the show, and I said yes. And she told me that you were a really nice guy and you sold her animal bongo. So somebody that really watches the show often,
Oh,
they said something
Bongo,
really good
the
really
legend.
good about you.
yeah, Bongo. Bongo, he had a little bit of a journey to get to me, and then I just had no use for him, and he found a good home. So happy about that.
Yeah, you'll regret selling that snake.
I know, I will. She pulled me off a lot,
You
too.
didn't ask me before you sold that one, Phil.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
But he does get more exposure now, so I am happy about that. I get to see him on Instagram quite often.
You're
I
right.
like seeing snake breeders be famous and all in the mix. I'm tired of seeing, my timeline full of housewives doing TikTok dances. I'm
Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I'm really in the mood for those dances. But it's just a little break from the snakes.
wasn't see some 30-year-old lady with a mustard stain on her shirt
Yeah,
from her
and she's
kid's corn dog.
6.3 miles from me. She's just waiting for me to call
hey, you think you could do that dance for me in the Wendy's parking lot real quick?
her.
Hold on a second. We got Keto. What up, Keto?
What's up, y'all? What's
Okay.
going on, Phil? What's
Hey,
up, Phil?
Keno.
Tony?
Man, how you doing?
Hey, what you say you be having people doing Wendy's parking lots?
No.
Boy, I just came in at the wrong time. I don't know what you be doing. You was a
Yeah,
wild boy.
he was talking about pimping,
Yo, how do you know this? You haven't even been here.
but I've been studying.
Tony know what he know.
Listen, there's no type of pimping going on here. It's a farce that was made up by Keno.
Well,
None of
I
it's
just keep
true.
hearing that we're going to get to the bottom of it at the next show, but we never do. So I thought
Listen,
maybe we could just get
It's
down
a
to the ground
farce.
roots of
It's a
where the family
farce. Hold on.
started.
You know what? I'm gonna wait. We're gonna wait until the show because it's not a farce.
Okay.
listen. Keno thinks I'm a pimp by proximity. That's not how that works. Nobody like blessed me into pimping just because I'm related to them. That's not how that
But
works.
they did though. That's exactly how it
It's
went.
not, it's not true.
I thought
Anyway,
you were talking about your proximity to hookers, because I think there is something to do with that.
Look,
yeah,
who father just randomly moved them to Indiana,
it wasn't random. My dad's job got transferred.
Philadelphia, or wherever you was at, over Maryland, wherever. It's just these obscure places. You got moved there for a reason, man.
You think that you still run around here telling people that my father moved me so that I wouldn't be a pimp at 12.
At
It
9.
starts early in the streets. That's what I know.
What is this fresh? Think of a young crime lord. Get out of here. Uh,
They
Phil,
call it switchblade teeth.
get out of here. Phil, can we get your background and your history? And then we'll go back to talking about the jungle, the carbon python localities and things.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna
What's
have
up,
to go
everybody?
back and watch the start of this show. I missed whatever you guys talked about before. But yeah, so I mean, I guess start back to I don't know, just where it started. When I was a kid, I liked snakes. No particular reason. I just thought they were cool all the time. I don't remember anybody coming into a classroom or anything like that. Any zoos that I visited that was like eye-opening moment, but I just always thought they were cool. And then middle school, we had fish, and I liked fish at the time, but they die. You're cleaning the water; it's gross. You got to buy new fish all the time. It just
Yeah.
got to be a pain. And I had a cousin at that time who, a few years older than me, and went over to her house, and just out of the blue, she said, "Yeah, just stay right here in the living room. I got something to show you." She walked out with a red-tailed boa about 5 feet long, and I was just like, "Wow."
Hey, where you from, Phil?
So I'm from Iowa. I live in Iowa now. I grew up in Iowa.
I say because if you're in the South, your cousin tell you that you gotta watch what's going on in that room.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
cut it out. We're not doing this today. We're not doing this.
I would say
so
don't go in that
smooth.
room, but go ahead.
It
Go
was
ahead.
going so well.
Right. Let me think where I was. Okay. But yeah, I mean, that was like
Cousin.
a light bulb moment for me. And I was like, "That's your pet?" "Oh, yeah, this is a pet." And then right away I was like, "That's a great idea." So I think it was 9th grade that I asked my mom and dad, which I got to give props to them because, a lot of parents would just say, "Absolutely not. No, you're not getting a snake. When you move out, you can get a snake." But my parents were open to it. I went to a pet store in Iowa City and took my mom with me, and I found a corn snake, an albino corn snake. And up until that point, I'd never really felt them. That first time you really kind of feel a snake, and I had somebody do it at my house just Sunday. They felt a snake that I pulled out, and right away they're just like, "Oh, wow." Because in your head, you're thinking, they're slimy. Obviously not. And when I felt that thing, it just because it was just like, another light bulb moment. Is just like, holy cow, this thing is awesome. Got to buy it. And I think it was like $90. Maybe it was $50. I can't remember. But that was my first one. And yeah, since 9th grade, I didn't have a whole lot of different ones. I kind of had I think I had a Colombian rainbow boa, which I thought was the coolest thing. And then I discovered what Brazilians were, and always wanted one of those. Still haven't had one. I got a red-tailed boa for myself. I had a milk snake at one point, but for the most part, I was keeping boas from about 10th grade until I think it was 2016 when I got my first carpet. And when that happened, it was eye-opening. And right away, I got rid of my boas. Said I needed more carpets, and it was 4 years ago in 2020 when I moved from Colorado back to here in Iowa, and I got a house and I had more room that things started to explode. So that's where we're at now.
Okay.
And just
Tony,
kicking ass, Phil.
go ahead.
What's that, Tony?
I said you're just kicking ass now.
Well, it really is funny how fast it all happened. Yeah, it's just, you acquire good animals from good breeders, and you throw a couple together. Let's see what's going to happen here, and bam, more pop out, and then you get more, and you keep doing it, and holy cow, now you have a room full.
No kidding. Yeah, it's a testament to being able to just keep up with something. I think a lot, or I think often that the hardest thing about being successful in this hobby, you just got to be consistent. You got to be able to do something every day, every week, every month, every year. When bad shit happens, man, you still got to take care of these guys.
Yeah.
And,
You gotta master the basics, is what I like to call it.
right. Yeah, they easy to keep, but it's a commitment for sure.
Yeah, we all know that you got to set aside that time at least weekly. Otherwise, fall behind, and then it's just a lot of work after that if you do.
Yeah.
It's easier when you keep things on a schedule and you just say, okay, well, every 3 or 4 days I got to do this, or every week.
I think it's fascinating how, as keepers and breeders, man, there's probably nothing we think about more than keeping up with that schedule and how to make it easier and better and streamline it. Back in the day when I kept hundreds of snakes, I would always buy a new cart, something that would make that job just a little bit faster. If you're doing 100 water bowls, man, that's an art to get that down to.
Man, that's too damn much. That's 100 water bowls, man.
Well, and then you go disposable, but you got to figure out a way. There are people that we know that keep 3,000 snakes by themselves. Man,
That makes me, oh shit. It's giving me anxiety just thinking about
And
that shit.
I'm such a nerd that I literally clean every day. Uh, when I wake up in the morning, I'll clean every cage that has been soiled that night. And I feel like when I keep up with it like that, then I can come home from work and take pictures, jack with my stuff.
Yeah.
But it's when I get behind on my cleaning that I missed out on that other time. Just enjoying them.
Yeah,
Well, you have little kids, little badass kids.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
Okay.
two, I got no kids at home. Like Travis and I were talking earlier, I hadn't been married in 13 years. So,
Okay.
yeah, you guys that have to juggle all of that too, man, I,
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
remember those days.
yeah.
Yeah,
You,
I
you,
might
You
have
got strong
gotten,
wrist,
well,
Tony.
at least part of my divorce was caused by me being so obsessed with my reptile collection. Uh, and I didn't know it at the time, but we got to really control our passion sometimes.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
that's a very good point, Tony. Yeah, for sure.
I know my wife is she's very oriented on the quality time, and she'll just show up outside when I'm in the garage, and I'll be like, okay, well,
With the
there's only
mean
so
face.
much there's only so much more time I can do this.
Right. There's only so much time in a day. So this might be a good opportunity to just give a shout out to all those wives and girlfriends that support us.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
This wouldn't be possible without them.
like an
Yeah, for
R&B
sure.
concert. Let's give a shout out to all the wives and ladies that keep us going.
Hey, look! Shout out to the CBI R&B section of the Sam's show.
We got a CBR R&B section. Who's in there? I know Tradesman in there. I know
Straight
Tradesman there.
KT's in
Tr-
there.
Yeah, KT in there singing Joe songs.
Yeah,
Um, who else? Who else is there? I don't know. Keno, you in there?
I'm in there. Yeah, of course, I'm
Yeah,
in there. You know what I'm saying? I'm
yeah.
doing R. Kelly renditions, except I'm not trying to mess with y'all little daughters. I don't do that stuff.
You didn't even have to say that part.
I don't do. Yeah, I had to magnify that part. I don't do that stuff. And we got what's the name in that? We got Chris Rice in there. Talking about okay, is he? Yeah, which
You
anymore?
are you calling Chris Rice Michael McDonald?
Yeah, no,
That's a lot to live up to.
blue eyed
Uh,
soul, baby.
I immediately think of the 40-year-old virgin when you say that.
Michael McDonald.
Yeah. Him, him,
My
him singing in the Best Buy.
yeah. You,
Man,
you know what's funny is when I saw that movie, I was just like, because my parents used to listen to Michael McDonald, and like until I saw that movie, I was just like, so it's not just my parents being
right.
weirdos with this dude with this weird ass voice.
No,
What's wrong?
he's
Hold
got a
on, man.
good
Hold
voice.
on.
He
What's
just, to
what's
me, everything sounds the same.
I
what's
like
wrong?
Michael
Hold on.
McDonald.
What's wrong with Michael McDonald's voice, y'all?
I
The
like
hate is real tonight.
I listened to Michael McDonald, but as a kid, his voice sounded weird. It's like Aaron Neville, man. I remember one
I
time,
was
man, I
about
No,
to
hold
say
on,
that. I
hold on,
didn't want
hold
to
on.
offend
I'm gonna
anybody.
be the
I
voice of
love
reason
Aaron
here.
Neville,
I'm,
but
I'm not gonna
everything
let y'all
sounds the same.
disrespect. I'm not gonna let y'all disrespect white brothers with soulful voices. No, it can't be.
listen, I would tell you something, bro. Listen, I was a little boy, and my mom used to like
Shout out to
Aaron
my white
Neville a
brothers
lot,
out there that can sing a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We love y'all.
and she used to
I'm
play
not
the
trying to
Aaron
keep you down.
Neville. She used to play the Aaron Neville cassette tape, man, and I used to like pretend to be Aaron Neville, and I used to fuck up a song. And I remember one time she reached back and slapped the shit out of me, like, "Stop fucking up my song."
Oh, I learned in college, if you would put Aaron Neville on, if you were on a date, man, it was instant in the mood.
I didn't
Aaron
know.
Neville was my man.
I didn't know Aaron Neville was panty dropping like that,
Oh
man.
yeah.
Oh man,
Out in Lubbock, just the smooth sounds of Aaron Neville for sure.
he's getting the poon underneath the yellow moon. That is a good Aaron Neville song. I'm not gonna lie, it's a good Aaron Neville song. Um, let's not get off track here. So let's talk about carpet localities and how you guys classify carpets.
Phil, carpet localities, that's more your field.
So how do you guys like call? You guys call them jungles? Like what are? How do you? What are the classes of carpet pythons? You got jungles. You got diamonds. What
Okay.
else?
You got
Yeah.
you got the jungles, the jungle to jungle. I know that's bad, right?
So you're
No,
thinking
no.
jag to jag.
Jag and
Yeah,
Jag, my bad. Yeah,
Jags.
because those make this Jaguar. You put that in there to bring out the super yellow stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's people that,
But Jag to Jag is but it's like the spider to spider breeding in ball pythons, right?
yeah,
Right.
right.
That dominant form is not going to thrive for you.
Right.
I know that there are people that will do jag to jag, and the idea is that the ones that do survive, you're not getting supers. You know, you just when you're getting normal jags out of the pairing, that you're going to get a lot more jags. You're going to cut down on the amount of just normals that you get, and in their eyes, it's cutting down on the less desirable ones. You know that you would get and have to try to get rid of and sell or whatever. And I know that people have gotten some killer animals doing jag to jag. I don't think I would do it just because I'm looking for a full healthy clutch. I don't want to know that maybe whatever it's going to be 25% have or 50% of them is going to turn out dead. So I don't have a trouble with the normals that come out of the clutches. I think those are awesome looking snakes, and so I think I'll avoid jag to jag. But I do a lot of jag breeding myself.
Yeah, you've had great luck with Jags, and just making some beautiful animals.
I was
Yeah.
gonna
You're
ask
working with Gamma and
that
Neon, aren't you,
question.
Phil?
What's that, Tony?
I said you're working with Gamma and Neon.
I am. Yeah. I've only been breeding now for 3 years. This is the third year that I've had clutches, and yeah, my neon breeder male has come through for me every year. I've got a gamma male that I got a clutch from last year. Didn't get one this past breeding season, but I got one in 2023. But yeah, I mean, I've had great luck with the neon and gamma lines, and they produce awesome animals.
Yeah, yeah, just
So you get carpets on them.
shows. Yeah. So have either one of you guys ever had a carpet python?
I've never had a carpet.
Not me. I've
Well,
never had
no, I've
one.
never had a carpet.
Well, it's not that different than a green tree. The green tree to me is like the fragile carpet python, and it's just kind of the perception that I get, and they are Morelia, but the size and shape and the way they feel, the scalation on the green tree is smaller and it definitely feels different, but they're really built a lot alike.
The carpets lay more across like multiple like three or four points, right? Kind of like as opposed to just perching.
Oh yeah. I would say mine, and I provide perches in all my cages because I just like to see them up. But they will spend about 50% of their time perched, and it depends on what's going on, whether it's shed cycle or how hungry they are. But I'll say 2 or 3 days after a good meal, I'll see my animals perched all day long. And I do more of a shelving. I do have some more conventional perches in with my diamond pythons, which I really like, and they use a lot. And I'm convinced they're good exercise too. It's just good to have some stuff for your snakes to play on. But that is one of the biggest draws to carpet pythons is how much they perch, and they just not too afraid to be seen. That was a question I had about green trees. Is I do you think green trees ever don't want to be seen? Most setups that
I
I
don't think
see,
they do.
the green trees
Yeah.
are just on a perch in full display. And then I do see some people keeping some shrubbery around them. Do y'all find that it really matters?
It does. It matters, especially in times of high stress. So, like, you
Yeah.
moving them from one place to another, moving them from one part of the room to the other, you upgrading their cages. where they go off feed for some reason.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it seems to revolve around how comfortable they feel being tucked into some type of cover,
Yeah.
um, and they just seem to do better with it. And even especially when you sell somebody a snake, and I'm pretty sure there's other people that attest to this. When you sell people chondros or other people just get chondros, one of the biggest things that they like to do is make them into display cages. And that is the
Yeah.
absolute worst thing to do with a new chondro because what they seem to usually put them in glass. And that's what I did. I made the mistake as well. But if you don't have these snakes in a lot of concealment, they don't do well. They'll go off feed like that. And it's hard to get them back going. Um, Even with the size of the cages, they need to be blacked out. Even with when I've gotten some imports, I've had to take the glass on one of the cages and tint it so they really couldn't see out of it. So that concealment thing is a big deal to chondros, in my opinion.
No, I'm with you on all snakes. You know what? A lot
Yeah,
of
I agree
times,
with
what
that.
we view as stress is what we would think would be stressful. But every time you look at that snake, every time that snake can see out of its enclosure, that can be a stressful situation.
That's true.
Uh,
Oh, TPC. Yeah, question.
when I have problem hatchling or problem feeding hatchlings, I'll cover their cage, and that usually works well to help calm them down, get them going.
Yeah, you know what's weird is surprisingly, I haven't experienced this. Nobody's really said this, but them being concealed when breeding doesn't seem to matter much to them. Like I would think that they would act weird without concealment, but I think that they
Well,
just too busy humping. They don't care.
yeah, and you know, I've noticed that too. Breeding and feeding are the two times that your snakes aren't stressed because they're
Yeah,
focused on something else. They've got another switch flipped.
yeah,
Uh, but you know, I know a lot of people will turn the lights off in cages during the day when they breed. I've never really found that I needed to. I don't think they care.
I agree.
yeah. I don't really care. I don't think they really care. I just think that they just know that's what they're supposed to be doing, and they just
How about you, Phil? Do you breed in the dark or the light?
When I
My
trust you, we
snake,
can do it with the lights on.
yeah, I'm the same as you, Tony. I mean, you know, when I see the most action, it is overnight and early morning. That's when I might turn lights on and see them locked up. But I don't usually alter anything as far as the lighting during the day, unless I have a couple together and they just don't seem to be getting with it. Then I might try to start changing things, make a cage darker for a week, just something like that.
Yeah.
Listen, when you come in the room and you cut that light on in the morning and they breathing, they don't even like stop. They just look at you like, "Hey, cut the goddamn lights off."
Yeah, it does make me feel kind of bad to do that.
So a
What are you?
long time ago, way back in the day, when
Not
I had
me.
all these CB70 racks, I pulled open a rack that had a breeding pair of ball pythons in there, and the female flinched so hard I pulled the drawer too fast that she pulled his hemipene off.
No, no, that's. Oh no.
Old
Yeah,
dog had to have. James Old dog had to have it to him too.
yeah,
Yeah, oh dog.
yeah. I was
Yeah,
pulling those drawers real slow after that.
Wow.
yeah.
You gotta be careful. Some of them, they'll snatch it off you, Tony.
Right.
He said-
Well, I was ready to duck.
You
Yeah, I've had some snakes coming out of drawers. Yeah, that'll wake you up real quick too.
Listen, in the twilight hours of the morning, I don't mess with anything. It's just as bad as messing with them at night with the chondros. Like messing with them, like right when the lights come on, it's just like they still in that mode. You got to give them like an hour. It's like just
Yeah,
because the lights start coming on doesn't mean they're just like, hey, it's time to not be a
when
night asshole.
when
They
those
don't know.
pupils are dilated on a chondro, I'm not jacking with it. You
Yeah.
can tell they got a different thought going on in their head.
Yeah, bite the shit out of you because you got a mouse in your hand, but you don't. You just trying to change the water because they shit it in a bowl. You don't want to leave. You don't want to leave the house smelling
Right.
like watery snake shit.
Oh, I love when they shit in the water bowl. That's the easiest cleaning for me.
But it smells so damn bad,
It's
Tony.
just so
Oh, it does
bad.
smell. It does smell. It's just easy. I
That
throw
shit
that
smell
bowl in
like
the
death,
dishwasher
man.
and
It
I'm
is
out.
easy. I give you that though. It just smell like death, man. It's just
I hate when my wife comes in there and she's like, "It smells like snake shit in here." I'm like, "Yeah, because there's a bunch of snakes in here. What you
I'll
think it was
take
supposed to smell like?"
I'll take that though because all you really gotta do is just deep clean the water bowl. You ain't gotta change the pad out.
Yeah, I don't know. When they shit, I always change that pad. I
Unless they have
don't
a blowout, but no, it'd be sometimes, especially the males. The males will just drop that shit right in the water bowl.
precision drop like in
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
Just drop it
So,
off.
one thing I've noticed about carpets is the males shit more than the females.
Sometimes though.
And I
Yeah,
assume it
Yeah.
just my males are more active. I don't feed them as much. Are
Same thing with
green trees like
chondros.
that?
yeah. The females, they just like human women. They just hold all that shit in and let all of it out at
They
Hey,
don't
one
want anybody to
time.
you
see
trying to
them.
lose like the two women followers that we have.
It's like I've been hating you for months, motherfucker. I'm talking about all this shit. That's how they do the shit.
That'll make you not feel good now.
It's like I thought we got through this. No, I'm still mad. Uh,
Oh man, that's funny.
Like you talking about that shit from 4 months ago? Yeah. I didn't
oh
say
yeah,
that. I didn't say that.
I'm still
So,
mad about this shit. We had a
hey,
question
Keno,
from.
how do you guys know each other?
Me and Travis.
Yeah, you and Travis.
So shit, me and Travis, we met maybe about 5 years ago now.
Damn, it's been that
Travis
long.
Travis was trying to about a female green trees, and they was laughing at him. People was laughing at him in the Facebook group.
He was trying to G you down.
No, he was trying to buy. He was looking for like subadult female green tree pythons, and
Ready to breed.
He made a post in the Facebook group, and they started laughing at him. They started
They
clowning him.
roasted the shit out of me. It was like I don't know. It was bad. I was like, man, fuck these motherfuckers. And then I saw Keno, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna ask this random black dude. Maybe he'll help me. And it was Keno, and he helped me out, man.
So shit, I just put him in contact with the people, man. I know that was doing me right, and shit, right. Since then we just been like brothers from different mothers.
Yeah.
Why were you getting roasted just for asking for a subadult female? Is that like impossible to find or what?
It's not that it's impossible to find, but certain questions are not. Certain questions they may not be bad, but there's a lot of people in like the Chondro Facebook groups that just live to be dickheads. Like they live for
Ridicule
this.
people
Like
and shit. Yeah.
yeah, like they live to be like I'm smarter than you. And it's just like if snakes is where you gauge your quality of efforts to the world, bro, I fucking guess. But uh the Chondro Facebook groups were a pain in the ass. They still are that way. Like I've seen some crazy shit in there. Like I've seen people like still like deny that like Nido exists. And there's people that go into Facebook groups just to start shit with other people. It's one
Yeah.
particular person. We haven't figured out how to get him out the village yet, but it's just really one particular person. Um
Scientific questions.
Well,
uh
yeah, that all even though I'm not deep in the chondro group, that bothers me because that could deter, someone that would be a real asset to the hobby from getting in the hobby
Yeah.
because there's people out there just trying to spoil their good time.
well also
But
what you kind of gotta
Facebook not the real world though. People gotta realize that
yeah
too, man. It's a lot of shit goes on there just for
But it's the world we live in when
people
we're
get a
on
lot
there.
of attention from there that they don't get in real life.
Yeah.
it,
Right.
it, the
No,
Facebook
I
groups
agree.
are they're all kind of like problematic because like a lot of the people that you're gonna see with the most to say
Okay.
on the Facebook groups, like throughout the rest of the hobby, like you're not ever gonna know who these people are. You're never gonna hear from a lot of these people because a lot of these people, what they did is, and some people gonna get mad at me for saying this again, but fuck them. What they did is they bought an expensive chondro, and now they think that they are experts on chondros, and they just live to be in there telling everybody how much smarter they are, but they're not. They're
No,
not.
no, there's a wisdom that you can only acquire from experience. And I think that keeping snakes, there's probably only a handful of people that can have a good working knowledge of
Yeah.
whatever they're working with without spending a few years doing it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can read whatever you want to read, but until you've kept and worked with a snake, you don't know snakes.
Yeah, you don't. Snakes are real difficult to gauge too a lot of the times
Heck yeah.
because a chondro is going to be a different animal at different ages. Like with a neo chondro, like at around like a year or so, like once they become a yearling, they start moving more like adults, and then their behavior changes. Uh, Before then, you could feed them in the daytime. They'll always be willing to eat in the daytime and other shit. Or you can go in there at nighttime and they won't strike at you sometimes. But like once they get older, their behavior changes. They just become different over time. They become adults, full fledged adults. They
So
are a
you
different animal.
have you figured out the science of that
Listen,
yet? Between daytime and nighttime, like stuff like that.
listen. You can have your science questions for your scientist friend. Uh,
He said, "I keep forgetting how crazy the Facebook chondros can be."
Listen, but they are very different animals at different points in time, and then between one biok to another, that's a completely
Oh,
different animal,
Yeah.
and it's just you just gotta learn how to deal with animals at different times. Shit, the males are super different from the females sometimes. I got a male that just ate a frozen thawed rat like 2 weeks ago. This thing hasn't eaten a frozen thawed anything in over 4 years.
Oh man, that's a good sign.
You
He's
look,
needing energy stores for something.
nah, he ain't getting no coochie this year. He gotta chill out.
Well, he don't know. He just thinks he is.
Listen,
that's true.
Hey,
he getting benched.
talking about the hobby and the way we treat each other reminds me, if y'all don't mind, I'm going to do a quick shout out for an event that's really important to me and
Go
Phil
ahead.
and all you guys.
Go ahead.
Texas Carpet Fest is coming up
I'll be there.
October 19th. Oh, are you going to be there, Travis?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Sony
sweet.
told me I gotta go. He told me I can't skip out this year. He
Man,
told me
it's
I
going to
gotta
be a
go.
good time. Yeah. So it's going to be October 19th in Johnson City. The event's going to start at 2 o'clock, and man, it's just a bunch of good snake people wanting to meet more good snake people. So
Okay.
if you're not a carpet guy, come on. We'll try to convert you, but you might convert us in the meantime.
Yeah, like Sony guilt tripped me recently. Before it was Kyle James who was guilt tripping me, so I gotta go. Like I don't really have a choice, so I'll
Oh
be
yeah,
there.
Kyle was he was big on that grill last year.
I mean, listen, Kyle looked
Mm.
like he knows how to smoke ribs. Like if when you meet Kyle James, you look at him and be like, that's a dude that spends a lot of time outside next to a barbecue pit.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I shook his hand, and I knew if there was anything I had trouble with, he's the guy I needed to ask.
Yeah,
So
Kyle.
did he have a custom made apron on the whole time y'all met him or something?
No, he's
What?
just got
No,
that. Yeah, he
Kyle,
he he
Kyle,
knows how to handle a situation. Yeah,
Kyle looks like a guy. If you ask him for a gun, he'd be like, "Well, I got a stash over here and a stash over here." He just seems like that kind of guy. Like,
Well, shit, that's my kind of guy then.
like
yeah,
Kyle James just seems like he has guns stashed in random like sheds in his neighbors in his neighborhood. Just random guns. Uh,
yeah. Just fuck around and find out.
yeah, no, you don't mess with Kyle. He's the nicest guy ever, man. He's a nice guy.
Well,
So I
you got
told
to
him,
think that about most people in Texas. You know, they're real
oh yeah,
friendly, but you go try to take something that out of their house and see what happens.
No.
Hey, can I ask,
most of
why
them.
is that? Why is that like the Texas like the go to? Like you better not come to my house.
Man, it's just
It's just,
Why is that
it's how
like?
you're bred. I was raised that way.
it's just how it goes in Texas, man.
Yeah, man, it starts early.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right. Because I'd be like, damn,
it's just
I
a
don't want
Texas
to ever come in
attitude.
your house. Like some of y'all, not you, obviously, Tony, but you know, it's the
So
first
Yeah,
yeah,
thing. So,
they
because
just pride
better not.
themselves on being ready if a
yeah.
situation occurs.
Okay, just ready for the
Texas,
fuck shit. Okay,
Yeah,
ain't nothing wrong with
a
that.
good example. Go try to break in the Stiegel compound.
First
yeah.
off, I'm
They
not
gonna
trying to
call
break
an
in nobody's
ambulance, not
house.
the
I don't.
police.
I'm not doing that.
Stigl is a you listen. Stigl is a championship shooter. He's a champion shooter, bro.
Yeah,
He
he
hit you with that
ski
shotgun,
shoots, right?
all ski with buckshot in your ass, bro. I wouldn't I
Yeah,
wouldn't mess with Stigl house for nothing. But
no,
yeah, everybody around here got guns, man. That's but the craziest part is
I love guns.
what you
Shout out to
realize
guns.
is that in Texas there are a lot of break-ins around here, but to me it doesn't seem like the people that are doing the break-ins are well accustomed to Texas culture.
yeah. Well, they about to get well accustomed.
Cause
But there's
y'all
a
got the
lot of it
castle
in
law.
the oil
Y'all got
field,
the
and there's
castle
a
law,
lot of
right?
people that get shot here.
Yeah. Oh
There's a
yeah.
lot of people that shoot people in self defense.
Also in Texas, if you rob somebody's house and you got a gun on you, that's like the same amount of time for doing a murder. It's
Right?
the same amount of time. So like Texas is not the place to be fucking around. That's why when you see most people do violent crimes with guns in Texas,
Fruitarian rats.
they're usually doing them with other violent criminals. I can say that for the most part. They're not messing with random people, at least around here, except for the break ins. But yeah, it's a bunch of kids around here that do break ins and shit. And, you know, these would be the same kids that get shot and their mom be on TV talking about, my baby ain't never did nothing wrong. It's just like,
Right.
nah, that's not
He made
true.
the honor roll in fourth grade.
Yeah. Get treated like OG Bobby Johnson's son in Texas real quick.
Yeah, it's a great state. I tell you, I've visited other states, but it's been a great place to grow up.
Yeah, I love Texas. I love Texas. I love everything. But they started to shut down the gun shows in Texas, man. There's not as many of them as there used to be.
What was that?
There's not as many gun shows in Texas as there used to be.
Oh, well, I know that I know some gun people, and they're crazier than snake people. They are fanatical about what they are into. Uh,
Oh yeah. I think that the wives of the gun guys are weirder. Them and the bra holsters. It's always weird.
oh, they all have those pink derringers too.
Yeah, it's like I got a tiny pink gun attached to my bra, and they like telling you just like I don't. I think this should be a surprise for somebody trying to harm
What's
you,
wrong?
but
Hey, what's wrong with the pink Derringer though, man?
No, there ain't nothing wrong with
nothing
it. Just
wrong
a
with
little.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
get
You was
shot
gonna
by a
you
lady drinking wine cooler with a little ass gun.
Man,
smoking
I
Virginia
got that
Slims.
bit. Uh,
Phil, you a
uh,
gun guy?
Not at all. I got no knowledge in that field, man.
Cool,
You
cool.
don't you don't have a. I thought guns were big in Iowa.
I mean, not like Texas. I mean,
Yeah, there's nobody's like Texas.
nah. I mean,
y'all got good hunting in Iowa, don't you? You got a lot of birds.
I don't know. Shaking his head, yes, maybe. I don't know. A lot of
This is the
deer.
Midwest. I was about to say you got some good winter hunting too.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of deer hunting around here. That's the big sport is deer hunting. But birds and stuff. I don't know. I
Cool, cool.
couldn't tell you.
I remember when I was in basic training, man, we had a kid who had this fused neck issue, and he talked real funny and real slow. And I asked him, I was like, "Hey man, why do you talk like that? Is it because your neck?" He was like, "No, I talk like this because I'm from Iowa." And I don't. I met other people from Iowa. They didn't sound like that.
Is that a joke?
No, man, this is a real story.
Oh, it's a real story.
But he was talking
Yeah,
I
like
thought that
Kane.
was the
He was talking
punchline.
like Kane.
yeah, bro. Like it was. He had like he had hurt his neck and they had to fuse his neck, and he talked real slow. But I thought it
Yeah,
was because of his neck. He was like, "No, it's because I'm from Iowa." But I was like, "I
well, when you get
never."
your whole neck fused, and he sounds like a young guy, he had some kind of traumatic injury, so he
Yeah,
probably had some
that's what it
head damage
sounded like.
too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Phil,
he fell off the rappelling tower.
Phil, you're representing
Oh, shit.
Iowa well.
I mean, yeah, that guy's talking down on Iowa. That yeah, you got problems.
I don't know, man. I've met a few people from Iowa. They didn't sound like him. My man Jake
Hey, why'd you laugh
Andre.
when you said he fell down the repelling tower though?
I didn't laugh.
Why you like laughing when people have near death experiences, bro? What's up with that?
Who have no? That's not fair.
I almost fell off the roof last winter and you was laughing.
But you're okay though. Look at you. By the grace of God, you're here with us with your hat
But
on
I
and
got
your
bit by a
sunglasses
spider.
in the house.
I got bit by a spider in the back and you was laughing at me.
Nobody else needs to know that.
It's ridiculous, bro. You just love laughing at people that almost die.
So wait, you got bit by a spider on the back and fell off the roof?
No, these events were like a
stories?
year apart. Were they a
No,
year
Tony,
apart?
this is two completely different things. First, I
No, it
got
was
bit
like
by a
6 months
spider,
apart.
and then he said, "Oh man," the first thing he said was, "Oh man, I knew this one girl. She got her father got bit by a spider and died 3 months later." So I was like, "Oh shit,
Well, that makes you
okay."
feel good. And you can't even see it probably. It's on your back, swelled up.
It was
Just
huge.
feel what we
It
just
got
said.
huge. I was doing the show and I was like, I couldn't even sit up straight. I was like, yeah, it busted open and all that.
Oh,
Oh,
damn.
Key yeah, that's cool. Then it was like about 7 months later. I was walking on the roof at work, and it was ice on the roof, and I slipped and almost fell off the roof and almost caught a whiplash. And he thought that was funny too.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. That's not it. The thing was,
That's what friends are for. They there to laugh at you when you die.
I didn't know what happened to Keno. That's the thing. I didn't know what happened to Keno. All I heard was these weird noises Keno was making. He was like, "Ah, God, I didn't know.
I was slipping on ice, bro. I almost slipped off the roof.
Yeah, he almost died. Who knows?
Exactly.
Yeah, he's probably traumatized from that. Are you still getting on roofs in the ice?
He thought this is what I dealt with on the phone. This is how the phone call was.
Yeah. He just got a weird sense of humor.
He's okay though, man. Don't let him do that to you, man. Keno's okay. All right.
No,
You had some questions. Y'all had some questions. So the first one's gonna come from Chuck. And he says, "Are the Jags nicer? They come out from those Jag to Jag pairings, I guess."
You know, Phil,
And
I don't know that. Do you feel like that's a thing that Jag to Jag produces nicer Jags, or just more reduced pattern?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, maybe just more reduced pattern. But I mean, not to name names, but I know some. I know one person in particular that has done the pairing several times. Yeah, they make nice animals, but I wouldn't say, in my opinion, that it's any nicer than a nice Gamma Jag or anything like that. So I can't say that it makes nicer. Like I said, maybe more reduced pattern, possibly, but that's about it.
Yeah, I don't see a scenario where it's really you stand any more chance of producing a nicer Jag other than you're just producing more. So you might feel like because you have a bigger selection that there's one that stands out more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really think that's a big controversial deal, Phil. I feel like, it's your snakes. If you're going to produce a quarter of the clutch, it's a lethal gene. That's your business. Those snakes will never know any different.
Yeah. I mean, and if you get a nice big healthy clutch, Tony, you know this. I had a split clutch with a guy this year, Gamma Jag clutch, where he got those snakes together, and he wasn't sure if the female was gravid or not, but he was actually looking to part with them. And so I bought the male and the female from him, and we kind of worked out a deal that if she is gravid, we'll split the clutch, later on. And so, yeah, as it turned out, she laid a clutch with me, 18 eggs. We split it 9 and 9, and we had 11 jags out of the 18. So that was great jag ratio.
Oh yeah.
And so if you have a jag to jag clutch,
Gotta have your jag ratio right.
What's that?
What's the ratio?
Jag ratio.
Yeah, it was 11 jags out of 18 eggs.
Ooh.
Damn, that was good odds.
Odds would say you'd get half, 9 out of 18. We got 11. So
yeah, I mean that's pretty. The one clutch I produced this year, I had eight males, 6 females. That's right in line with what I'd expect. So, but yeah, that was a great clutch, Phil, and a great story. I was so happy for Mike that worked out for him, and you as well.
Yeah, it worked out great for both. I'm still hanging on to all of them. I don't know what I'm going to do with them yet. Obviously, some are going to be sold, but I'd like to keep them for a while and see, which ones stand out to me the most that I want to hang on to.
Do they go through OCC like green tree pythons?
Yeah, they're born gray, not impressive babies at all. Gray, silver, those dark brown colors, and then within just a few months, you really start seeing color come in. And what, Tony, 6 months to 9 months is where you really see the color start to explode on them.
Right.
I watch you guys posting these green tree OCC videos or pictures. The carpets do the same thing. It's just not as impressive because you're going from kind of brown to black to gray, and it's not as vibrant of colors.
Yeah.
But
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
you
that
can
makes
almost
sense.
see them
I got
change
you, Tony.
every week. They just develop so fast, and they're just such a miraculous change. I mean, you couldn't even recognize the animal from birth at a year and a half. It doesn't look like it's even related. Like the green trees. It's just, I think that's one of the great thing about Morelia, that color change they go through is just so impressive. And if you're a breeder, even better, because you get to see it from day one.
Yeah, that's true.
How long does OCC with carpets generally take?
What do you think, Phil?
I mean, I'd say about a year out, a year from birth is when you really get a good idea of what they're looking like. But I know different snakes, you might want to give it a couple of years to really see the full development. But the jags that I produced last year, right now at about a year old or 14 months, they're looking phenomenal. And so, yeah, they're going to develop a little bit more color.
Seeing green trees, when they're about like 12 months, that's when like people can get caught up overspending, because a lot, especially with a lot of red neos, when they go through that change, like you were saying, Tony, and you start to see like a lot of black pop up.
Right.
A lot of times people sell them as melanistic animals, and then if you're coming in new to green trees, you're not realizing that, damn, okay, this thing is right at the beginning or like a few months into its OCC. So three or 4 years from now, it's not going to look like this.
Yeah, there's a snake I remember called, I think it was Fruity Pebbles. And that's what I always think of when I see these yearlings, because they kind of look like Fruity Pebbles. They just have 4 or 5 different colors that stand out, and just amazing. If you could just have them stay right at that and at that look, I'm sure that man, it would create a whole new world. And so people will sell them at that age with kind of leading people to think the expectation is they'll stay that way.
I had an animal around that age, that was completely black,
Man.
turned all green.
Well, and with green trees too,
And I
you
had
could
two of them. I had a cyclops baby that I raised up from a little import. And I'll show you some pictures, Tony, if I can find them. It was like when they started growing through the OCC, it looked like a basin.
yeah.
They look like Amazon basin.
Man, those are awesome. Either one of you guys keep basins?
Nope.
Any
I
kind of
don't.
arboreal?
I don't make that much money, Tony.
Well, do y'all just keep green trees?
At the moment, yeah. I
You said,
mean,
are they more?
you said at the
Oh,
moment.
I'm pretty sure they're more. I've not priced them, but
Yeah, the
I've seen
basins
them.
are one basin is like this one the entry level basin is like the price of a top tier green tree designer.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that.
There.
You can get some reasonably priced ones from Ed Marino, but shit, he also got some that I've heard that he turned down what like a 5 digit number for. So
Is that right? Those the ones with all the white on the back.
yeah, he has like an
Yeah,
alien line. It's like, and he had
right.
another one like a snowflake line.
Those are
He's got to have 100 at least. That guy's got so many animals. Just
The
amazing.
weird part. The weirdest part about basins to me is like the price has never come down. It seems like it has only gone up.
Yeah,
Even though people have been working with them for years, the price only goes up. Like they don't ever seem to
because
get
they
cheaper.
can be imported. So
Yeah,
I mean, Daddy. Good night.
I'm not your mother.
I know.
Good night, son. Love you too, boy.
but it
Yeah,
doesn't seem like
you can't get import. So yeah, it's just that price gonna keep rising.
Well, and they must be hard to breed. If people were popping them out right and left, that could tend to bring the price down.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, Chris Rice is here. He'll tell you they're not easy to breed.
yeah.
Uh, very difficult snakes to reproduce. But I
And
think
the
that that's
litters are
just.
probably small.
I don't even. I think that the litters are. I don't know. I think that they're around the same amount as chondros.
Oh, you think
Yeah.
so? I think more around 10, but I don't know. It just it seemed like it's going to be harder for the same size snake uh, to carry a big litter because she's got to develop them all the way to birth.
Yeah, that is true.
I don't know. Chris make everything look easy though.
Yeah. If you want to talk to somebody about basins, Chris Rice is a good person to talk to.
Or if you
Yeah,
want to
we
hear
got
like some
great people in this hobby, man. It's amazing how much knowledge that has been accumulated. I just feel very appreciative to be able to follow the people I do. I mean, it's just so much knowledge out there. It's really
Yeah.
a great time in the hobby.
It's also cool just to meet people that are into the same thing you are. But you develop relationships outside of that, and I'm still enjoying the hobby as of now. Regardless of there's some personalities in the green tree space that may not necessarily make things easy. But there's a lot of people that don't take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
So that's always a good thing.
Well, you got to not let a few bad apples spoil the bunch.
Nah,
Uh,
you definitely can't.
Unfortunately, is a reflection on the group, and I've been very happy in the carpet community and just how everybody treats each other. Uh, I hear horror stories, but I don't see it. I just kind of feel like some of these stories linger around. I don't know. What do you think, Phil? You
Yeah,
feel like it's a pretty friendly place?
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, if it weren't for Facebook 6 years ago, I wouldn't have near the collection that I do now. I mean, that's where I got my start. I was really late to get onto Facebook initially anyway. I feel like I was one of the last 5 people on earth to actually get an account on Facebook because,
Hey, I was in that last 5 with you, though.
yeah, I mean, for the longest time, I did not care. I didn't want to be part of it. I thought it was just the stupidest thing. And
Yeah.
then I think my wife actually created an account for me. And then, I don't know. Like I said, when I had my boas, and sometime somewhere I saw a picture of a jaguar carpet python, and all of a sudden I was like, wow, that's, that black and yellow just stuck with me. And then I discovered some groups on Facebook, and all of a sudden I started discovering people on Facebook that breed, and I saw pictures being posted more and more, and yeah, it just morphed into like, holy cow, I actually found people on here I can buy snakes from. Like I didn't even know it existed. And
Yeah.
so that's I attribute everything I have really from my start in Facebook and discovering, the people that were on there. And now, of course, we've got Morph Market and everything else going on that we can find snakes on. And yeah,
Well,
How
and
is
it's
I love
that's probably the reason you've been successful is you found your way into a community and you were able to buy good, healthy snakes. You weren't led down a dark path, somebody trying to sell you a bunch of sick older animals.
yeah.
Uh, so,
I
that,
was on the. I was actually gonna ask, how did you go about building your collection? Like after you found the Facebook groups and shit, you start, basically feeling safe enough to, put your toe out there. How did you start building it?
Yeah. So, like I said, I can't
Right,
remember
right.
exactly where or what that I saw a jaguar carpet python posted, but my boas, I had a Colombian rainbow, I had a red tail, and I had a Dumerose boa, which a Dumerose boa I wanted for a long time. From when I was a kid, I thought they were the coolest things. And then anyway, I saw this black and yellow carpet python, and just thought it was the coolest thing. But I'd always heard that there were aggressive, mean snakes that like to bite. And so, Tony, I'm sure you've heard that as well. And so that kind of kept me away from them for a while. But then eventually I got to the point where I was like, you know what? To me, the boas were getting boring. They just hide. They sit there. They don't do much. You got to pull them out to interact with them. Otherwise, you don't see them a lot of the time. And so I went out on a limb. I was like, I'm going to try to get a carpet python and see how it works. Got one from Underground Reptiles, if anybody knows that name.
yeah? I had
And
an issue with them.
yeah, I know a lot of people have. Not to
yeah,
talk bad on them, but I bought one through them, and actually, it was a great snake. The only problem was it was missexed. I was told it was a female, and I fed the crap out of it, like a idiot back then. And I actually gave that snake away because I wanted to accumulate a couple other ones, and I had posted for sale. And it was a nonprofit guy that came and asked me to, if he could take it. And he came in the door and right away he's like, "Oh, by the way, it's a male." I was like, "Oh, okay." And it was huge. I fed the heck out of it, but that snake still thrives. It was a good snake. But so to get back to your question, I bought that snake from Underground, but then after I started getting into the Facebook groups, I started to, discover breeders and stuff on there. Started to see pictures of snakes that were just blowing my mind.
You realize what you had did when you bought from underground.
Yeah, yeah, and the reason I got rid of that snake is because the snake's pictures I had seen of like was gamma jags, and that pop in yellow with the black, and my snake, my jaguar that I got just wasn't giving me that. It was kind of a mustard yellow, not a real bright color, and so
yeah,
I was really craving that bright yellow, and so that's when I reached out to guy's name is Will Bird. He's been in the carpet python game for a long time,
yeah,
and
So,
got a gamma jag from him. And I remember getting that thing in, and it wasn't fully covered up or colored up when I got him at about a year, but it sure looked good when I got him. And then within the next year, the color was exactly what I wanted. I've still got that snake now. He's sitting right next to me here, and from that point, I just kept, just kept reaching out to breeders that I knew had the best stock. And when I was in Colorado, I lived in a townhouse, and I only had, limited amount of room. I think at one point I had 6 snakes when I was there. And when I moved to Iowa in 2020 into an actual house that had 5 bedrooms and a lot more room to spread out, that's kind of when things exploded. I think in 1 year I bought like 11 babies from different breeders and just started raising them up. And then, of course, I've had a few clutches since then, and just multiplies, and animals get older and more available to breed, and so that's what it is. But everything I've got here, I can basically tell. I can tell you who bred it, lineage on them all, and they've all got great genetics. In my opinion, they're just phenomenal snakes. So it's worked out nicely.
How many snakes do you have now, Phil?
Well, like you, if I don't include babies, because most of these aren't staying with me. I think I've got about 27 that are not babies, and so that's kind of where I'm sitting right now.
Okay. Yeah, you got some heat over there too. Yeah, you're getting big. How many empty spots you got over there?
Well, 2 of that rack. However, just today, my wife told me outside this room we've got a hallway and there's a couple bookshelves there, and that's about it. I've got my incubator out there. But she just told me today, she goes, this hallway here has got some plug-ins, and if you help me build my reading room, which is next door to me here, it's actually the kids' playroom right now, but in a few years, she's like, if we could turn that into a library, I'll let you use this hallway out here for some more enclosures. And I was like, I took the tape measure. I started measuring to see what would fit.
This lady is a saint.
I know.
You said about next week. You said about next week is going to be a full functioning library, huh?
Oh,
Phil, you can't go anywhere.
You had quiet
this lady
please
is a
signs in
saint.
Dude, hey, that's another story. I'll keep it short. But back in like 2018, 2019, her and I had a deal that my limit on snakes was 3. Didn't matter what it was. 3 was the limit.
100?
3? What's that?
300?
300, right.
Then it became the sky.
Yeah, so it was 3 snakes. And, I had this Gamma Jag. I had something else, and they were just great. They were awesome snakes. And I never acquired these first snakes with the intent to breed. But once I got them, I thought, man, if I could create more of these, that would just be the coolest thing ever. And so I actually came up with a plan. I typed out an actual business plan to my wife, gave it to her to read, and that won her over. And she just said, hey, if you want to go for it. And as soon as we moved here, that's, I had to stop asking permission. It used to be, we were probably all in the same boat at one point where I had to tell her what I was buying or even ask, hey, can I get this? She doesn't even ask now what's coming in. I just let her know, hey, I'm picking up a snake today. She's like, oh, cool, what's coming in today? Because she knows I'm selling them, I'm buying them. No more questions asked. It's working. And as long as I stay within my boundaries, for the most part, space-wise, she's cool with what I'm doing.
Right at 29 snakes? 2 snakes?
20, 27, 30.
35, 40.
50,
Well, Phil, congratulations, man. I'm excited about your hallway and see what you do with it. And it sounds like you and your wife have a mutual respect. That's awesome, man.
Well, yeah. We do. Honestly, it was kind of one of those things. She likes dogs. I've never had a dog. And we kind of agreed that, I'll do my snake thing. You get your dog. You only live once type of deal. Do what makes you happy.
She's looking around. She said, it's more than 3 snakes in this motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's going to wake up. He's going to have a dog rescue at home. She's like, it's my turn.
Yeah, she's gonna breed Saint Bernards in the backyard.
Straight up.
The good thing is she doesn't want to take care of that dog, so that's good.
Listen, the time is mom. I got a
Dogs
question
are
for you guys.
amazing animals.
I got two dogs, man. I got one dog. I got two dogs that I don't really like. I used to like one of them. The other one I never really liked, and that I've had that dog for almost 13 years.
When I'm a lap dog,
It was my wife's dog. She just came out just acting like an old ass lady. She's been like this.
what kind of dog is it?
A poodle. She's half
yeah.
half beagle, half mini poodle. She's one of those hyperallergenic dogs.
She's a lap dog. Yeah, so
Yeah, I don't like that damn dog. She just cry all the time.
Oh, she whines.
Yeah.
Oh,
My paws are wet.
oh, you got a little princess dog. Yeah.
Yeah, she old though. She ain't no princess. She like the old ladies that work at Saks that still think they cute. Don't nobody want your old ass. Let me get this shirt. Get the fuck up out of here.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, she probably living that good life right now.
So I got a question. How does the selling of carpets work? Like with Morph Market and deals that you guys do in between each other. I imagine it works a lot like carpet, like chondros, but let us know.
You take it, Tony.
because we didn't heard of some back alley deals on here with chondros on these episodes.
Some back alley on the back block.
So what would I mean? You talking about? Is it easy to sell carpets?
Just
You
in
have-
general.
You know, kind of my plan getting into this hobby was I wasn't going to produce very much. So I don't have a lot of pressure that people that produce a lot of animals feel. So this one
Amen.
clutch that I produced, I'll advertise a little bit, but by the time I need to have them all gone, they'll be gone. I've probably sold 15 snakes on Morph Market. I sell most of my animals on Facebook, just to people that I know. Which I like a lot. That way I get to kind of follow that animal around. They'll send me pictures. Actually, that's how I met Phil. I think it was 2021. You got a pair of crosses from me, didn't you, Phil?
Yeah. Might have been 2 years ago. Might have been 22.
22.
Yeah, but they're got them both right up here right now.
Those
Yeah.
are what got the Gamma Jag crosses.
No, these are diamond coastal jungle crosses. And Phil's got
Okay.
some of the very first ones I produced that I think you've got two zebra jags that are 50-50s. Or no, 50% diamond, 25% jungle, 25% coastal.
Yeah, one zebra jag, and the other is a just caramel zebra.
Oh, okay. That male that I made you buy.
Yes.
Yeah.
You sound like
You'll
Keto
be happy
making
that you
people
bought
buy
it.
snakes.
Yeah. You know, I had bought the jag from him because he's got a bombshell, one he's going to breed this next year that she's just incredible, and I knew that this baby was a spitting image of her, and so I bought her, and then it was a few months later where he had this other male, and I had already decided I was done buying for the year because that was a year where I went nuts on babies, just bought some from everybody, and Tony's
Yeah,
like,
a lot of people went crazy that was the pandemic.
Yeah. And Tony's like, I got this male still. He's like, I think you'd be really happy if you got this male. I was like, I don't know, man. I don't need any more right now. I bought a ton. He's like, you really should buy him. And so the story ever since has just been that he forced me to buy him, and I'm happy he did because it's a phenomenal snake.
Well, in my defense, there have been snakes that you asked me if you should buy, and I've said no.
That's true.
So, yes.
I do try to
Hey, Tony, hold on. Have you ever said that to a snake from you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair then. That's fair.
Yeah, he
I
needed
thought you
that
just had him
male
over
for
that
this
Tony
area.
Barrel that just like, hey, you better buy all these shit.
No, see that's the thing. When you make 15 snakes a year, you don't have to push them. Uh,
That's true.
yeah, I was doing Phil a favor. He'll thank me later.
Yeah. Oh, I will. I will. I thank you every day when I look at him.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff going to be made out of that project.
Mm-hmm.
So how does it work with NITO testing? Because I've heard that there is NITO in carpet. So do you guys test for NITO at all?
I've never tested anything. Uh, Travis, my game plan was to only buy hatchlings, try to produce as many of my own offspring as I can, and then just really run almost a closed collection. So I
Well,
practiced really good quarantine and knock on wood. I hadn't had a sick snake since I got back into it 6 years ago. Uh,
well,
but
that's
I did
generally
have a customer ask me, and I told him I would definitely look into it. I worry that a snake that represents itself and it looks healthy is not going to test positive for NITO. Um,
no,
I
that's
know,
true.
yeah. So I
Yeah,
don't know
there's some
what
healthy
good it would
looking.
do.
It's some healthy looking snakes that are definitely NITO positive, and that's one thing that I would say is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So are these tests now picking up on these snakes that have NITO, but it, kind of like COVID. There's certain points when you have COVID that you test, you're going to be negative.
As
In my
far as
experience, it was 3 or 4 days into it. Then I started testing positive. Same way coming out of it. I felt
Mm.
better, looked fine for weeks before I would test negative. Uh, I
as
think a
far as
lot of those tests are that way. Go ahead.
Nas, you're true. Like as far as I know, the tests haven't changed. So the thing is, like for the most part, what they say is unless a snake is exhibiting unless a snake is shedding the virus, you may not be able to figure it out, right? Like you just may not. Um, it just may not. It just may not test positive, even though it is positive. Um, that's just kind of how it goes, I guess.
Well,
Um,
it makes me nervous bringing snakes into my collection. And I don't do it very often. I think that in the past, before we really knew what NITO was and I had snakes, I was treating snakes for respiratory infections, and I probably had NITO in my room. Uh, I think that we're kind of learning how important it is to quarantine, and how important it is to buy from people buy hatchlings. Those snakes don't have near as much exposure to other animals as older snakes do. Uh,
true.
I know that that's hard because there's stuff we want that doesn't fit into that box. But I think that if we're going to keep our collections clean, at least has to be a consideration.
I think that as I've gone on, it is nice the concept that you would like to know that everybody is getting is being tested. I test everything that comes in and I quarantine it. But even when it comes to the babies, and I'll full heartedly admit this, it's hard. It's not hard testing babies, but when they're neos, it is harder to keep them in systems that aren't rack systems. That's just what it is. I
Yeah.
don't think it's. I don't think that like. I don't think that a lot of people are gonna say any different. But keeping them in a rack system is the best way to keep them. So my racks are all in the garage. So yeah, like I'll test the baby and put them in a different part of the rack or put them in a rack that has nothing in it because I got another rack that I don't use. And I'll put them in that rack. But as far as keeping those Neos in a different place is difficult because neos you can't just put them in tubs or put them in PVCs like at 6 months or whatever. They just don't do well. So that's a consideration for quarantine. Now, once the ones that are older, if it's a yearling, for sure, it's gonna come into the house and it'll
True.
be here and it'll be here for 3 to 6 months or at the minimum. I had one that was up here for like 9 months. But when they're neos, it's just difficult in keeping them anything um besides a rack. Unless you're just unless you just got a neo that doesn't care.
Boy, the snake rack was one of the best things that ever happened to this hobby. Uh,
Yes, as much as people talk shit about it, it's just like you don't. It sounds crazy to people that don't keep snakes.
Yeah.
but before there was snake racks, I was stacking plastic shoe boxes on a wall with lids with heat tape on the wall. Uh, and to have to pick up, stacking them 15 high and have to take the lid off everything. Just amazing how much easier it was. And then they kept the animal secure because they're covered on all sides except the front. Just such an ideal place for them to uh, acclimate, become established. I think it works well with most species. Uh, just such
Yeah,
a good thing.
I haven't seen a species where rack systems don't work well for the new babies. Um, hey, we could all be wrong, I guess, but you know, part of the shit that you hear from other people is just like, oh, it's not really humane, and it's just this and that. It's just like, have you kept a snake before? Have you
Well,
realized that your snake is not a dog? It does not behave like a dog.
right. And it's probably just as inhumane to keep it in a 4 foot by 2 foot enclosure.
Oh yeah,
These snakes are not getting the stimulation they would get in the wild. Uh, but a snake likes to be secure. So, or you may be doing it a favor by keeping it in a smaller enclosure.
Right.
yeah. I mean, I don't know how Phil feels about it, but it just doesn't seem like snakes of any age just want to be in these big, wide open spaces that they don't actually occupy. I think it's different for snakes that do occupy that space, but if they don't, they just seem like, hey, what the fuck's going on? I feel like I'm just standing on a cliff with my ass out, just catching the breeze, and they don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
That's one thing about diamonds that's a little different. And I wouldn't keep them in a big enclosure as young hatchlings, but I think at a year, these snakes, the diamond python, 100% full blood diamonds, are so confident that they just acclimate so well and they use space so well. My diamonds are much more active than the snakes that I have that are 50% diamond. You can really see a lot of behavioral differences.
Oh, tell us about that. What do you think the differences are?
I think we just have a different species. I think that, and I kind of hold diamond pythons on a pretty high pedestal because they have to overcome so much in the wild. The climate gets harsh, it gets really cold, it gets really hot. So they're always looking for microclimates. But it's really odd if you've kept carpet pythons, and I've seen green trees do this too, where if I open an enclosure, every one of my diamonds will come straight out of the enclosure at a very methodical pace, and it's going to check me out.
Oh yeah.
I had a diamond python get out of one of my enclosures one night because I didn't latch it shut. And that snake, rather than go and hide, it came over to me and woke me up because it wanted to smell me. I felt it licking my or sniffing my arm with its tongue. Uh, and that's the behavior I see from even ones that I bought as hatchlings at about 6 months. They just don't, when you pull that drawer or open that enclosure, they don't immediately think retreat. They think go explore.
I
And that's
see
very
that same
different than,
behavior with Kino.
well, that's how to live life right there. But even my diamond crosses, if you
Stupid.
open a cage, they're ready to feed. They're going to hold back in that ambush position. and the diamonds won't. They'll go out, and if there's food there, they'll eat it. But you got to be careful with them because they will come up on you. It just really is a different species in the way they behave. I guess technically a different subspecies, but I
They
think
do that. They do that in the
really
daytime too, Sonya.
classified as a whole different species.
They do that in the daytime too. They don't got like a night, basically like a night switch, like green trees
So
got.
that's a good question. In the spring, and I work really hard to make these animals feel the seasons. I think that's a big key in breeding. But in the spring, my diamonds are super active during the day. In the summer, they're very inactive, and I view that as the summer's hard on them. The ambient temperature during the day is much higher. Even though it may not get above 80, it doesn't get down to 68. So they're
Yeah.
staying at 75 to 80. These snakes don't live that hot in the wild for very long. So they really slow down. They don't feed as much. But the spring especially, a lot of activity during the day.
Okay.
Which promotes kind of what Phil was talking about. These things just pop out and perch, which, is the bad side about racks is you don't get to see them, and I feel bad about that, keeping something in a rack, because I want to see it. I want to see what it's doing. You just don't get to know your snake as well if it's in a rack.
Yeah.
There's a trade-off with everything, I guess.
Well, and when you breed, I mean, there's always going to be an issue with space. And it's not like we're solving the world's problems, but I hope that what we're doing, and if we do it right, at some point, somebody's going to learn from it. Somebody's going to appreciate our efforts. Maybe we've got a lineage that continues on. But I think we have a lot of opportunity to make an impression on this hobby in a positive way. And I think we need to take it on ourselves to do that.
I think that's already here, really. Like, even though, people may not necessarily say it, like, people are learning from, the guys who did it in the past. 'Cause let's be honest, there's not typically a straightforward tutorial video on how to treat any animal besides ball pythons and some geckos. But people do, they have to listen. I think that one of the biggest things that we miss out on these days is the lack of mentorship.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the mentors or the mentees, but it just seems like people would just do better if they allow somebody to pass down information onto them and just kind of monitored how they applied this information.
Wouldn't it be great if we were organized enough to have a mentor program like that? I've discussed that with people, and it's just the logistics of it are hard because you
There
don't
used to
want
be
any
one for green
liability.
trees.
Say that?
Yeah,
There
it
used
was
to be
one.
one for green trees.
Okay. Was it just one person, or y'all had kind of a system
No, it
set
It
was
up
was,
that
multiple.
would connect
It
people?
was like a designated group
yeah.
of mentors, and then you would just go into the little
The Facebook
Facebook
group.
icon in the group, and then
Yeah.
just scroll down and find one, and then reach out and talk to them.
Not, I think the way that worked out for me, I think that it's like, do you want a mentor? I was like, I went and just asked for a mentor, and they assigned me a mentor. I
Hmm.
Okay.
didn't. I had my mentor was Thaddeus Saul, so shout out to Thaddeus Sauls, wonderful guy out there in Indiana. I didn't get to choose my mentor; they just gave him to me, and I appreciate it.
He
Um,
said, "See, Travis. He never choose none of everything. Choose him.
anyway, so yeah, it was a good
The
thing, and
game.
we asked Saltzman about it, just like what happened to it. And he said people just didn't use it, and I'm just like, maybe there's a way to promote it,
Yeah.
like saying, we need you guys to have mentors because, people will ask me questions and people tell me I mentor them, and I'm just like, I'm not. I'm not monitoring what you do enough to feel like I'm adequately mentoring you on anything. Um,
Well,
but
and
yeah,
I think the definition can be different. Sometimes just having somebody reinforce what you're thinking. I tell you what's taught me the most in this hobby is making mistakes. Uh,
yeah,
and I always was fortunate to be around people that were very willing to answer my questions. But it's those mistakes we make, and sometimes they're very costly. But that's really what kind of guides us. And I think most keepers end up going in a direction where, what can I do and not screw up? Because I've just got to stay away from that mistake. And I think as we fine tune our keeping, then we can start branching away from that and trying to push things a little further. I've been trying to push the temperatures that I drop my diamond crosses to. I'm kind of dealing with two different species that require two different things. Uh, and so, gradually I've been getting these guys down to close to 60 degrees, which is pretty cold for a carpet that's not 100% diamond python. Uh, and I think the only reason I'm able to do that is I've gotten very comfortable in the way that I'm keeping, that I can now start to try to stress them a little bit more and see if it's advantageous or not.
yeah. But also, those type of things come with it's a sense of you learning, but it's also a sense that hey, somebody can help guide me through this risky shit.
Right, right. Yeah, you just want to always know somebody's kind of got your back.
Yeah,
I would love a mentor program in the carpet community. I think there's some great people that'd be great mentors. It's just when I start talking about it, the people that I want to be mentored aren't the people that don't know anything. I
yeah,
want young people in the hobby that have learned to respect the hobby and what's been created before them, and kind of have you don't want the guy calling that, hey, what's a carpet python? Uh, you know what I mean?
yeah. Um, but I also feel like the guys that you want to mentor, like they're super busy, man. All the people that you're just like, I want you to be a mentor, like those people are super
Tony, how
duper
do you
busy.
balance that though? How do you balance that though with not wanting to be not wanting to sell to the guys who like what's the carpet python, but also on the other side of that, so somebody might really want to know what's the carpet python, and shit, you could be that link to where
So
it's like I now there. Tony sold me my first snake, and he took the time to explain me exactly what this is, what the
well, I
subspecies
think
are.
if we have a mentor program, it would be set up on a higher level of education. Now, I sold two snakes last year that I was shocked that these first time snake owners bought a carpet python that was worth over $1,000. I thought, man, what a great experience. And then what a great opportunity for me to help you be successful with this. So
Yeah.
I welcome that. And fortunately, the people
Okay.
that bought those snakes, they have been very successful with them, and that's been super rewarding for them, which makes it rewarding for me. I guess when I'm thinking about a mentor program, we're really trying to gain an expertise. And I feel like that in this hobby, you kind of have to cut your teeth for a little bit before you really understand what's going on. Uh, and I think you need help to learn what's going on, but that to me is not what I envision a mentor to do. Uh, so I don't mean to say I would not welcome a first time carpet buyer. I don't come across those that much because the animals I sell aren't first time carpet buyer animals, but I certainly welcome that. And I think that's a big responsibility for a breeder to take on that challenge and make sure that's a successful situation. If not, you shouldn't sell to them. Uh, but I think there's a lot of opportunity to just share some knowledge where, one name comes to mind that I've heard a lot on NPR, this gentleman named Keith McPeak. You can
Yeah,
tell by listening to him talk, reading anything he's written about snakes, he has just developed a keener understanding. And
Yeah.
if it's my first day in the hobby, I won't appreciate that because I don't even know enough to appreciate how much he knows.
Mhm.
So I think that we do need to be very kind to the people coming in, but we also need to kind of realize what we know and who needs to tutor us at that point.
I agree with that. I agree with that. But also part of learning is you got to talk to people, and it's hard to talk to people of a certain age group
And you gotta learn the science too.
that trying to tell them things is just like you got to understand that you don't know everything to go forward and learn. And it's hard dealing with people that think that they know every damn thing.
And you get excited because you buy a snake and you study and you learn all about it and you have all this new knowledge and you want to share it, but you got to calm down. Other people, everybody knows it. Uh, yeah, I see those people. I stay out of those conversations because they've got to be around long enough to realize what they don't know. And what they don't know is enough to be telling other people how to keep. Uh, everybody keeps different. No one
Yeah.
keeps the same. We all have a different way that the sun hits our house. We have a different way that our intake pulls air and how our air conditioner works. It's all different. And these snakes acclimate to a wide range of that. So there's a lot of different ways to keep. I find it fascinating to go see any keeper's collection and just there's little things they do that I'm like, man, that's genius. I'm around this all the time and I didn't think of that.
Phil, how do you feel about the mentorship topic?
I mean, honestly, I feel like I'm still very young in the carpet community. Like I said, I've only had 3 years of clutches. I've only been keeping them since about 2018. Um, but yeah, it's a great idea. People getting in that are looking for people to help them. But like you said, all the names that would come to mind, yeah, those guys and women too are going to be super busy all the time. And so I know it'd be hard for those people to, maybe find the time for that. But I think a lot of them
Yeah.
would welcome it when they could find the time.
I don't
Yeah.
know about y'all. The busier I am, the more I can get done. The more it forces me to organize and kind of get my day in a structure that I can knock out more stuff.
Hmm.
I think if I had a scheduled appointment with somebody once a week for an hour, I would take advantage of that.
You know, I think what's cool about the carpet community too is um, it's small enough that I know that I can reach out to random people through Facebook and the big names that Tony and I know, and chances are most of them are going to respond to me within hours or a day at the most. And I've done that. I've reached out to guys about questions with diamonds, jungles, jags, whatever it is, and they all respond. Everybody's cool. They're willing to give their knowledge, and that's how I've learned everything I've learned is reaching out to the guys that know what they're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
isn't it amazing how the same place can seem so friendly to one person and so unfriendly to another?
It is, and yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of how you approach people, and maybe the way you ask the questions, and of course the way you receive the answers and how you put it into practice too.
Yeah, well said, Phil.
So I try to approach everybody like, hey, you know, appreciate any time you can give me on this answer, but I got a question. I know you're a person that can answer it for me, and everybody's receptive to that.
I think that generally works most of the time. I think that you got to be cognizant of who your audience is sometimes, and I think that we all do, as like we're all still babies in a sense. Is we all still would much rather ask one person than ask a bunch of people because that's a safer environment. And I think that that's just how we're wired. So I think that the mentorship idea, I think it did help. It helped me a lot. Like I can say that Thaddeus helped me a lot, and I talked to him for a long time about certain questions that he got me through it. And even Thaddeus has come on the show twice, so I always appreciate him for that. But then I got other mentors, like Keno is a mentor of mine. Like I talked to Keno about a lot of things. Um, Ryan Burke is somewhat of a mentor of mine. Um, I've got other mentors that have helped me get through certain things. Pat, specifically Pat. And these people do take time out of their day to help you learn things.
Yeah.
Um, but I do think that that one-on-one time frame, like you said, an hour a week, like that's important. That's really important. That's like a therapy appointment.
Sure.
that's that's like a therapy. You give somebody an hour a week. That's therapy.
But I don't know if I've ever come across somebody that I reached out to that wasn't willing to share. I think that's really pretty cool because the information we gain comes from a lot of time and experience and sometimes heartache. But for the most part, I think everybody wants to share their experience and help others keep from making the same mistake.
Yeah. And plus, reptile nerds, we do like talking about reptiles. It's not like I can go downstairs right now and talk to my wife about, hey man, I just had this crazy ass conversation about carpet python. She'd be like, cool. I need to order some coffee syrups.
Well, the way you could burn through an hour with, another reptile person, before you know it, you call somebody on the phone and that hour is done and it seems like 10 minutes because you're just nonstop talking to each other about, whatever it is. And I find that happens all the time. You call somebody for a 20-minute conversation. It's 2 hours later. You're looking at the phone like, man, I got to go to bed. This is taking too long.
Yeah. Don't call Keno in the morning, man. Don't call that man in the morning because you're going to ask him a real simple
What
reptile
y'all do in the
question.
morning, bro? What's wrong with the morning?
You're going to ask him a real simple question early in the morning, like at 7 a.m., and Keno is going to have the wildest conversation that you think you could have at 7 a.m. None of it's going to be about snakes. None of it's going to be productive. And this
I'm
man
just
is a
setting the tone for the
star.
day, bro. Just
This
setting the
man
tone
is
for
a
the day.
star of absolute nonsense early in the morning. Keno should
Bro.
have a morning show. He would get taken off the air real fast. He should have one
Well, y'all should do
early.
this in the morning one time and just let Keno go.
Hey man,
No, no,
it's
Tony.
dangerous. No, Tony, it's dangerous. Tony, it's problematic.
It ain't that bad, Tony. You know what I'm saying?
No, Keno. Do you remember what you said last week?
No, what?
I'm not gonna go there. It's dangerous, Tony.
What I say?
I'm not going there. It's dangerous, Tony.
What I say,
Yeah,
bro?
y'all,
Give me a
you
hint.
need
What
to
I
have
say?
a morning
Hold
show.
on.
You could call it Keno Keeping It Real in the AM.
Keno, do you remember that Taquarius blade was coined in the morning? Do you do you remember when you went and looked for Doomsday Taquarius on Facebook?
I think that was in the afternoon, bro.
No, that was the morning because I was on the way to work.
Nah, what happened last week, bro?
I don't even remember. We're not gonna talk about it.
That says it involved the R word.
Are you guys going to Dallas this weekend?
No, I'll be there.
I'm trying to get that. You talking about the M&Ms?
No, we're not doing this.
Well, first
Listen.
off, Tony and Phil, y'all fan of M&Ms? Y'all like M&Ms, the candies?
He's not talking about M&Ms like the candies.
Yes, I
He's
am.
not
Dog.
talking about Eminem the rapper. Do
I
not answer
prefer.
this
I
question.
ain't gonna lie. My favorite M&Ms are the almond ones.
Yeah, he likes them with a little nuts in them. Listen, don't answer this man questions. Like, don't answer them.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
not sure how
almond
to
ones.
proceed here, Keno. I do like some M&Ms. I don't think I've had the almond ones though.
Okay.
Almond
You
Hershey.
gotta get you. What'd you say, Phil?
Almond Hershey Kisses.
Almond. Okay. You gotta, man. Tony, you gotta get some of them almond M&Ms in your life, man. Life changes.
Hey, I'm
Still,
54, man.
Personally, I
try to
think those
stay
are the
away
best
from those
M&M.
sweets.
I love a good M&M though. I ain't gonna lie.
He's not talking about candy. He's
Oh, I'm
not
sure
talking about.
you
Just
guys
saying,
have
bro.
so many inside jokes.
No,
Listen,
it's not.
it's not
It's
an
not.
inside joke. It's a very well-known joke.
It's not an inside joke, not at all. Anyway, drop them fairies. Drop them. Can you drop? Can we drop them fairies in the comments?
Don't drop any fucking
For
fairies.
the
Don't
people who's
drop
not
any.
here,
Don't drop a single damn fairy.
drop the fairies in the comments.
Just cut it out.
Hey,
Listen,
is it Travis? Are you the one that makes the videos?
yeah.
Man, that's some work, bro. I respect that.
You so I was supposed to put out more videos today, but like the day got away from me. I don't know if you heard it earlier, but like the morning went to shit real fast, and
Do Eminem the
then
wrong way.
uh,
Well, I heard
listen,
about your oil spill, but
yeah,
when I found out I was coming on the show, I went back and started looking at all these videos you created, and I'm like, man, you're an artist. Uh,
it's a,
you
it's
got
a,
some skill, bro.
it's listen. We got videos that like we can't ever show anybody that we
Yeah.
made, and we realized
Nah.
real
Now I
quick.
got some. I got something made too, Tony. But I'll never. They won't ever see the light of day.
Kino got some bad ones too.
Well, can we put them out on the dark web or something?
I don't
Probably
think
on the
that.
dark web.
You know what,
They're bad.
Tony? Tony, after the show is, I'm gonna send you all of your videos, and you can do whatever you.
That's what
I'm
I'm
gonna send
talking
you and
about,
Phil
baby.
all your
Adrian, that's what I'm
videos,
talking about. Fairies.
all all your videos. Y'all can do whatever you want with it. Listen,
Three little fairies.
likening Kino to Pee Wee Longway. Stop. But listen, we went over time. I want to bring you guys back. I want to have like a carpet. I
A
want to
round
do
table.
something. I want to do something before Carpet Fest with you guys.
Phil, you
Like,
got to get some M&M's in your life, man, so we can talk about it in the next episode.
Well,
stop.
we are all really excited about Carpet Fest. We're trying to step it up a little bit this year, so y'all feel free to talk it up on your show. Anybody has questions, they can contact me.
Yeah. Is
All
it
right,
just
bro, we'll
you?
do that for sure.
We'll do something for Carpet Fest.
And I appreciate you guys entertaining us. I didn't know what comic relief we had available till I started going back on y'all show. Yeah, I was thinking we were going to get a little more R rated today. I was prepared.
We could listen. It can get bad. I think that Phil is married to a saint, and Phil's not trying to go into the abyss. You know, he's not. He's
Phil
trying to
said,
try to
I
be
don't
there.
know. He said, I don't want no guns. I don't know about that candy y'all talking about. None of that.
Phil,
He's got
I
dogs
feel
though.
like
He got a watchdog.
Phil like when
He
bad
wrong
things
way.
happen, he talks like Bill Cosby. He's like, I'm not a part of any of this filth, flarn filth with these miscreants.
You got
Like,
to.
Yeah, I don't think Bill Cosby's a good reference anymore.
he's not. But there was a time. There was
He
a
had
It
time
some
when he was
depends.
sweaters.
America's
It,
dad.
Man,
it depends. You talking about what?
every Christmas I wanted sweaters like Bill Cosby.
She didn't even know it.
Why? Who are you trying to impress?
Oh man, I was into sweaters in high school. Man, I wanted those colorful sweaters.
Ain't
Did
nothing
you
wrong.
like ever rub?
Ain't nothing wrong with a good coochie sweater though.
You ever like rub your like sleeve across a girl's neck and be like, "This is cashmere." Did you ever do that with your
I'm going
sweaters?
to.
Those
No,
are the
I
coochie sweaters too,
thanks,
right?
bro.
What are you rocking the coochie sweaters, bro?
Who? The
Bill
Cos?
Cosby.
He was big into the Coogis.
Yeah. Shout out to
Oh
the
yeah.
shout out to Coochie sweaters with the matching hats, man. I need to get one of those.
You know what's crazier than Coogi sweaters is Coogi sweater pants.
They got the whole outfit.
I'm not going there. That sounds hot as hell too.
Listen, it's something you only
That
see
do
like
sound hot,
real.
like your balls be sweating.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
a breeze down there.
it's something for drug dealers. If you don't deal drugs, you never had no Coogi sweater pants. I
Or
never.
pimping. I could see some pimping going on in those pants.
Yo, come on. Come on, Tony. Come on, Tony.
I want to see Tony in the Coogee outfit. Nah, I ain't gonna lie.
All right, bet.
Feels just like I'm not participating in any of this.
I'll
While you
see.
guys are doing this, I'm a be at Whataburger doing something.
Whataburger.
What's the burger spot in Iowa?
I mean, where I live, it's Culver's, man. Culver's has.
I love Culver's.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never had one of their burgers.
I love a good butter burger from Culver's, man.
I just had it tonight. I just had it before the show.
Culver's fire.
I love Culver's. There's
And the
one.
cheese curd fire.
One thing good about living in the desert of West Texas is we got some of the best Mexican food.
You do.
Oh, yeah.
We got some good Mexican food out here.
But there is this thing about West Texas, and it's not every town, but like I didn't experience this in Midland, Odessa, but in Big Spring, the water has so much minerals in it, it made the food taste weird.
Oh, okay. Well, we do have nasty water. Yeah, you have to have an RO unit here. The water is not safe to drink.
The
We have
Concha
a water
water.
softener for our shower too. Yeah,
I
it's really hard.
I got a water softener and like a water purifier, and we got them. We got it 5 years ago when we moved in the house. My daughter was little, and I was just like, well, she was just born, and I was like, I don't really want her building scales up as an infant. So
That water softener will spoil you too. If you go shower without one, you're like, what the hell?
Oh yeah, when you feel it when you take a nice shower after you've been taking shitty showers, and you just look over and you just look at that bottle of lotion. It's just like, this is what luxury feels like.
I need to play some Aaron Neville right now.
You don't play Yellow Moon.
I feel like there's a mood being set.
Hey, that happens every time that he get the low voice. That's how he get all them women out there on the streets.
What women?
He's a very smooth talking man.
Well, I can see both you guys on the radio. I don't know if y'all have explored that area of the economy, but y'all would be good in radio.
We wouldn't last very long, Tony. Like I'm telling you, it wouldn't go well for a long time.
Y'all can come on right after Stern. Yeah, you need to get on.
Some of the stuff that Travis talks about, man, is just it's not for radio.
I don't know. I think there's a niche for everybody these days.
Are you talking about these fictitious crimes that I commit in your head?
What crimes? You talking about the crimes? You talking about where it was like a week straight where you almost ran somebody over?
It wasn't. That's not how it really worked.
Tony, hey, look, y'all. Every time he got into his car this week, he was, God damn it, this man almost do it. I almost get in my way. I was like, come on, man. Come on, man. It's not every fucking day, dog. Hey, it's not one time it's your fault.
What do you drive, Travis?
A Ram.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He gonna ram some people. Yeah. That weighs 5,000.
Keno actually says that black people that drive Rams are not. The black people that drive pickup trucks are not to be trusted.
That's a life rule, Tony and Phil. You ever meet a black man and he drive a pickup truck, don't trust him.
You know what?
The cowboy
Travis
got grandfathered in.
I see a lot of black guys driving trucks, but when they have a cowboy hat, that throws me.
It's Texas, man.
Yeah.
It's Texas.
It's not good.
You
gotta have a truck out here just to have a competitive advantage.
Yeah, you gotta have a truck. You never know what you're gonna do. First of all, people in Texas, bro, once you realize it, people in Texas are quick to turn the median into real road. You just never know when it's gonna happen. You don't ever know when you just gonna take the road you own and the little grassy area between the highway and the side road, and you're just gonna turn it into a road. That's just part of living in Texas. You don't ever know when you're gonna be out in the field driving or some shit. You just never know.
That's how you end up almost running somebody over.
That's not how that was happening, Keno.
Yeah. Well, they need to get out of the way. You got places
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah. And in
Right.
your mind, Keno, you just think I'm just committing these crimes behind this imaginary veil, almost like I'm Candyman or Pippin or some shit.
You said that. I didn't.
'Cause that's how you treat it.
You said that.
Listen,
I didn't say that.
listen, we're not doing
The
this no more.
Candyman pimping.
Nah, we're
I didn't
not
say
doing
that. Let
this.
the record show he said that. I didn't say that.
No, we're not doing this. Anyway,
It's crazy how you just open your mouth and tell on yourself. That's shit. Wow. Huh?
this is the shit that you be talking about.
I ain't never called you the Candyman or Pippin, but
But
I will now.
no.
There-
All right.
Yeah, I like that name. There's a little truth in everything, right?
There's no truth
Tell
to
me about
this.
it. Hey,
There's
you know what you know. Tell me.
listen. Keno thinks that my uncle, who is actually not a pimp, he thinks he is a pimp, and he
Oh,
thinks that he taught me how to be a pimp.
which one are we talking about? You talking about the one that wear the cheetah print 6-inch heels?
Nah, that one is a
We
pimp.
not talking about the one with the matching platform shoes that got the cheetah print with the cheetah print hat to match. We not talking about him.
Okay, that one was a pimp at one point in time,
Okay,
but we're not talking about that.
Well, he's
one.
not a pimp anymore, but he was a pimp.
No,
he
he's
is
not.
still is.
No, he's not.
All right.
This man's a pastor.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Right.
That's a good cover.
Exactly.
All right, man.
It's just like his other uncle. His other uncle was a postal worker.
Oh, that's a good cover. For,
Okay.
for male gigolo. Yeah.
Crown Royal bags every day.
All right. All right, man.
It's been fun, guys. It's good getting to know y'all.
It's good having y'all, and y'all got to come back. I want to do another carpet episode with you guys, and whatever you want me to do about Carpet Fest, we'll talk about it later, and we'll figure out how to do some stuff with Carpet Fest for y'all. Because I'll be there, but I love seeing Texas win.
Oh yeah,
I
it's
think
good
that's
for
it.
all of them.
Yeah. Plus, I can't wait to see some people up there.
Shout out to the
Yeah.
little people all over the world.
Have y'all been to Replandia in Johnson City?
Nah, I haven't gone yet. I was supposed
Yeah.
to go last year, but I had like the week before that I got back from Tinley, and I was like wiped out because I went to Tinley. Before that, I went to the Dallas show, and what else happened? I think I had to take my mother-in-law back home, and I was just running. And like that weekend, I wasn't clocking, man. I was just running, and I was just like, you know what, I need a break, and I didn't drive to Johnson City, but it's only like
Crown Royal
less
bags.
than 2 hours from me. I'm not
Oh, yeah,
paying anybody in Crown Royal bags.
I like
No,
those
you pay.
full bags. They're
They
handy.
pay you with it.
Listen, I'm gonna be like Phil. Phil seems like he doesn't participate in any other foreign filth. I need to be like Phil.
Phil, we need to get you down to Carpet Fest. There's a Crown
Yo,
Royal
put that
bag.
shit away. Put that shit
I think
away.
that's a half gallon right there. That's a big boy.
This is when my snake came in when I got it from Chad last year.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good move.
That's not true. That's
I
not
kept it.
true. I didn't send this man a snake in a Crown Royal bag. I really
Dude, it
did.
got holes in it. It got holes in it. It got breathability holes in it. I washed it.
That's
I've kept some snakes in a Crown Royal bag.
what is going on here.
A funny story before we sign off, and I think the statute of limitations is over, but I transported a pinstripe ball python from Daytona via airplane in a Crown Royal bag in my underwear back in 1998.
Wow.
Sad having a Crown Royal bag in your drawers. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. You got to make ends meet.
And I think that was the year Snakes on a Plane came out. So I just had to make the connection.
Snakes on the plane.
We just participate in everything as long as a Crown Royal bag is involved. This is wild. This reminds me of in high school where everybody was right before my senior year when everybody was trying to knock a girl and take a picture of themselves knocking a girl with dress socks on.
So when you pulled up, they had it like this.
That
No,
was the
get
go sign. If the bag was hanging like that, come on in.
listen.
When you ain't see the bag, that means the bag is full. It's time to, you know.
Right.
Time to
If the bag was full, then yeah,
daddy.
he's busy.
Time to pay black.
Yo, listen, I want to be innocent like Phil. I don't want to be a part of none of this. I want to be like Phil. Phil is just listening to y'all. He's just like,
Because you
man,
got to hit it with the, you ain't seen nothing yet.
all right. That's been
Phil,
us for the.
I heard you might be coming to Carpet Fest.
Will Phil coming?
I heard a rumor.
Uh,
Phil?
no, I won't be there. I'd love to, but no, I won't be there.
You'll be working on your haul.
Yeah, you're right. I got to get to Texas sometime. But
Well, come next year. Start planning it now. It'll be even bigger in 25.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
I gotta go again next year too. Damn.
Oh, we gonna do it up this year. We're getting some badass shirts made. We got some sponsors. It's gonna be a nice event.
Okay. Well, I'll see
You
you
get
in
some little,
Dallas.
if you get some little performance, I'm in the building.
Listen, don't encourage this man with this music activity. It's not
Well,
something.
you could bring some entertainment. I know you
Yeah,
got the
Keno.
hookup.
Yeah, bring your entertainment,
Can
Keno.
they be under 4-7?
Oh yeah, even better.
Bet. I'm there. I'm in there like swimwear.
I hope you bring like a bunch of them, and they be like the '90s McNuggets, like the
That's
old
what I'm gonna call them.
McNuggets,
That's what I'm gonna
and
call
they
them.
you just throw the little box on the ground. They just hop out and start doing TikTok dances in front of you.
That's what I'm gonna call them. The Keno McNugget.
That's fucking
Keno
gross.
McNugget.
Ew. I hope they give you that sweet and sour package that you
Shout out to
can't
little
carry.
people. Shout out to all the little people around the world, man. Everybody, the little people that watch the bar room, we love y'all.
There's
Hey,
none. They
y'all
don't
keep
want to
keeping
be.
it real, man. It's been a lot of fun.
They don't want to be involved in this. Thank you, Tony, and thank you, Phil, for coming
They do.
through. Next time, we'll figure out the technical issues. But it worked out great.
Shout out to
But
the wives too. Shout out to our wives and
shout out to the wives. Shout
the
out
other
to
people in
Phil's
our
wife.
lives who put up with our snake shit.
Yeah. A shout out to Phil for not
Shout out to Blaze all
participating.
around the world.
We don't have to
The
co-sign
international
Blade activities. Appreciate you so much, Tony.
Iowa Blaze.
We'll talk about Carbon Fest, but that's been us for the Chondro Bar Room. Y'all have a good night.
Shout out to the
Take
Iowa
care.
Blaze.
All right, later,
Don't.
gentlemen.
thanks,
Good
guys.
night.
We
See you,
Blaze in
Phil.
Iowa.
See you, Tony.